Well, hey, you guys. Welcome to this Minute with Mama. Hope that you all are doing well. Sorry, I've got something on my screen. I scratched that off. It is evening time. It's later in the night, and I was gonna do a Minute with Mama earlier today, and I'm just like I said, I think in the last Minute with Mama is just how crazy this time of year is, and I'm just going. And I sat down. I was ready to do it. And then I looked and I was like, I only have like 10 minutes. And by the time I upload it, I was like, I don't have the time and I don't want to rush it. Um, so I was like, you know what? I'll just do it tonight. I'll do it tonight. And I got a lot going on over the next few days, just getting everything ready in time for Christmas. And I think the rush to get it all done this happens when Thanksgiving is like later in the month of November. So you have like a shorter amount of time to get everything done. And then this following week is like the final week of school. So there's all that stuff. I don't know if you guys remember, or if you do have kids right now, there's just so much jammed in to that final week of school before you go on Christmas break. Um, so so here I am. Here I am now. And we're gonna chat for a little bit. Gosh, I don't even know where to start. Been a very drama-filled week. If you are a conservative and you're on the right and you're paying attention to what's going on, the divide that's taking place with conservatives, predominantly over Turning Point USA, Erica Kirk, Candace Owens. I will tell you that Candace Owens' followers are extremely aggressive and they are volatile. And I have gotten so many responses from them this week because I don't like what Candace is doing. I think it divides the party. I think it's going to definitely impact midterms. Um, I think the way that she's treating a widow, someone that Charlie loved dearly, that he had children with, is just cruel and it's inhumane and it's vile. I do. I think that. And the demand that Candace is saying is that she's just asking questions, right? She just wants answers. And my thing is you're not going to get answers in the middle of a current investigation. Like no one's going to say, "Hey, let's call up Candace and let her know what we found so far as we investigate this case." And so asking for this is just crazy to me. Um but her followers are steadfast, man. They are dedicated, they are loyal, and they came at me this week because I spoke up. I lost a lot of followers, got a lot of angry messages. Um, but here's the deal. I never got in this to be like a big podcaster or a huge influencer or uh, at all. So the fact that I like I am where I'm at, like I never it was never like that's the goal. I got involved because my dad ran for Congress and he was involved and very strong businessman, entrepreneur, perfect to really go in and clean house and find the waste that's taking place in government. And he lost the primary election. And that kind of woke me up. And I was like, wait a minute, we're not sending like our best to Washington, D.C. I didn't know that. Well, all that I've learned since then has been crazy. But that's what got me involved and using the comedy and satire from the background I have in theater and acting and directing. Like that's but it was never like, oh, that's what I'm gonna so I don't really care. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not and I'm holding this open arms to God. Like and I don't know where he's going to lead me from here. I feel like often that the kind of course that I've had in all this has kind of run its course and I don't know where he's going to take me from here, how he's going to use me. I do feel like it's going more into a kind of like ministry, more talking about the gospel, more sharing the truth of Jesus, because clearly a lot of people that are on the right don't know Jesus. They don't have a relationship with him. They don't know him. And so maybe the mission field is kind of transitioning more to that. Not that I'm not going to be involved in politics at all, because that's just a passion of mine. It's just there. Like I just naturally gravitate towards it. But at the end of the day, like I think that time is of the essence. And to waste it on a lot of this stuff that we're seeing right now is just so pointless. Um People need Jesus. People are broken. And that's what Charlie wanted to do. I mean, literally, I think one of his biggest texts that not texts, posts that he posted on X was, "It's all about Jesus." I mean, that's what it is about. That is the answer to all of the problems that we see and face. And we are in a timeline. We are rapidly approaching the return of Christ, I believe. Um, how long far out that is, I can't tell you, but I will tell you that we're seeing a lot of the signs. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But what I wanted to address with the Candace followers and what I found from them is a lot of these people are women. They were women that had a lot of trust in the government prior to COVID. Um, they got the immunizations for their children. They were into vaxing. They believed what the government said, and COVID woke them up. And it woke them up to not trusting the government. And if you've been following me for a long time, I've never really trusted the government. Like I've always been a limited government person. In all of my writings, all of my everything, I'm a conservative. I thoroughly believe that absolute power corrupts absolutely, and I believe that government has to be restrained. Um, and so uh, these people woke up, right? And so now they have this huge mistrust of government. And I believe that they took that trust over to podcasters and influencers. And so instead of listening to the government, mainstream media, believing their politicians, they're like, no, everything you're saying is a lie. I'm going to believe this person, and I'm going to put my trust in this person. And what this person is telling me is the truth. And they know the truth. Um, and both of those people, whether you're trusting in government or you're trusting in an influencer and podcaster, you're in a very vulnerable place. You're in a place where you could easily be lied to, manipulated, misled, deceived. And I'm seeing that happen. And it's hard to even shake these people. It's hard to get them to wake up and to see that they're, what's happening. They can't see it. I feel like it's similar to the people that couldn't see stuff prior when I was yelling about COVID and yelling about Russian disinformation and the first Trump presidency and all the lies with the Mueller investigation. Like sometimes people just won't see it, and there's only so much you can do. And I have learned that this week. I have learned that the people on the right are just as headstrong as the people on the left. And I believe that the right and the left are really kind of muddled together at this point. The strongest conservative voices, quote, quote, out there we have right now, the loudest people are Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. They don't represent me at all. Like at all. I don't align with them. Marjorie Taylor Greene's another one. I don't. Um, so if this continues, you're going to see, like I've said, a fusion of the right and left. It's going to horseshoe. So that's what I wanted to mention. Anyways, so the back and forth that's taking place, obviously, Erica basically came out this week and she called out Candace Owens without saying her name. She was on Outnumbered on Fox, and she basically said stop. And Candace said that she would stop if Erica would come out and tell her to stop. Then Candace came on her show later and basically said she's not stopping until she gets specific questions answered from Erica. Um, what's so messed up to me is, like, I was thinking about this. Charlie has two children. He left two children. And if I was taken out or something like that and on to heaven, um, and I found out, like, it would grieve me so much to see my spouse attacked so heavily, because that impacts the spouse in such a heavy way that being able to care for my children can be impacted. Um, And this is taking away from Erica's time of grief, to mourn, to get her head on her shoulders right, to be able to process, to get used to a life without Charlie, to be able to care for her kids. Like, all of this is impacting her life as a mother and a mother to Charlie's children. Um, and I just I just can't even believe that here we have someone being viciously attacked that just lost their spouse and now they're a single parent. It just blows my mind that this is actually happening, and I just it's just anyway. So this is still continuing even after Erica has said stop. Candace is now saying she wants answers. She's very upset that Candace that Erica is the CEO of Turning Point. We've actually seen some guys, Jason Whitaker, who's a podcaster out there, come out and say that he doesn't think that a woman should be in leadership or be leading Turning Point USA. And I would say to that, Candace is the CEO of her podcast. Should she not be the CEO of her podcast? He won't say that. He's coming out against Erica. So that's the new angle. They're going to come after her, saying that women shouldn't be in leadership, and hang a Christian type, layer over it, because it's Christian to not be in leadership. That's not biblical. First of all, the Proverbs 31 women is all about a woman owning business, buying land, selling land, doing deals, earning her own money. You look at Lydia in the Bible, she was very much a powerful woman. You look at Deborah going out and leading men into battle. She was a leader. There's women all throughout the New Testament that were leaders, prophets. So that whole idea that these guys are saying is not biblical. Okay, just go to the Bible and you can look at and find several women that were in leadership roles in the Bible. So that's the new take. The new take is to come after Erica Kirk and try to take down Turning Point USA. And this is my take on it. And this is what I feel this is all kind of coming full circle, is because Charlie did support Israel. He disagreed with the war that was taking place. I believe that he disagreed with having to support a war or having any kind of U.S. involvement, because he's America first. But I do believe that Charlie understood the biblical role that Israel plays in the end times, and the significance of the land of Israel, the people of Israel, God's everlasting covenant made to Abraham that will continue on into the new millennium after Christ returns. I believe that Charlie understood that. And when you look at some of the people that he has interacted with, surrounded himself by, they too believe that as well. I don't know where Erica stands on this, but I have a feeling that Candace knows that Erica might not agree with her on Israel. I think that Tucker knows that Erica might not agree with them on Israel. And it was interesting that Tucker came out this week saying that he too is concerned about the narrative that we're receiving on Charlie's death. And, we're not getting the full story from the FBI, kind of coming out, partnering with Candace in this whole crusade. So I find that really interesting. I also want to point this out to you because I know that Tucker and Candace are very much closely united in this front. I feel like they're spiritually connected in a way. I think that they do play a significant role in what lies ahead. Um, and I saw this earlier today, and it kind of hurt me. Not hurt me, but it kind of grieved me because I'm seeing the turn, and it's wild to watch because I think the increase in the hate for Israel, like I've said, will grow. But I did not know this about Trump today, that he signed kind of like an alliance with Qatar. And here's Tucker talking about it, and we'll just watch.
In Israel, and Israel didn't want that at all. And so they tried to murder the negotiators in that round of peace talks from Hamas in Doha. And then they tried to tell the world that actually Trump signed off on this. That Trump knew. Totally false. Trump did not know. Not only did they do this, they tried to implicate Trump in it. And
so he's talking about Israel here, if you missed the top of that, sorry.
Responded a couple of weeks later with an executive order that I'm going to throw on my glasses and read this because I bet not 1 in 100 people knows this even happened. So this was at the end of September this year. Listen to this. He signed an executive order, and this is verbatim, called the Assuring the Security of the State of Qatar. So next time you hear someone on Fox News be like, the terror state of Qatar, if only Trump knew. Right. Assuring the security of the state of Qatar. And we're quoting, over the years, the United States and the state of Qatar have been bound together by close cooperation, shared interests, and the close relationship between our armed forces. The state of Qatar has hosted United States forces, enabled critical security operations, and stood as a steadfast ally in pursuit of peace, stability, and prosperity, both in the Middle East and abroad, including as a mediator that has assisted the United States' attempts to resolve significant regional and global conflicts. Listen to this. In recognition of this history and in light of the continuing threats to the state of Qatar posed by foreign aggression, it is the policy of the U.S. to guarantee the security and territorial integrity of the state of Qatar against external attack. The United States shall regard any armed attack on the territory, sovereignty, or critical infrastructure of the state of Qatar as a threat to the peace and security of the United States. Oh, wait a second. What was the last act of foreign aggression against Qatar? Well, it happened that exact same month. It was a bombing by Israel. So Israel bombs Qatar, and Donald Trump issues an executive order saying, if you do that again, reading by the language here, we're going to war with you. Donald Trump took the side of Qatar over and above Israel and told Israel, and who knows if he'd actually do it, hard to believe, but it's in the executive order. If you do this again, that's tantamount to an attack on us. That's a security guarantee.
Okay, so that's significant, you guys. If true, and I don't think Tucker would lie there, and I don't trust Tucker. Like, I'm not a Tucker person. You guys know that. Like, he's anti-Israel, so he's excited about this. He's giddy over it. I mean, there's so much alleged that he's making a ton of money from Qatar, that he's been bought by them. He was in Qatar just like last week speaking. So he's happy about it. What kind of upsets me is that Trump would sign something like that and say that we have an alliance now with Qatar, and an attack on Qatar is an attack on the US. Again, this is the turning, right? This is where you start to see the world turn. And to have a statement like that made is extremely significant. I also saw this clip between Donald Trump Jr. and Tucker talking about how much they love J.D. Vance. Now, it's important to know that J.D. Vance and Tucker Carlson are business partners, okay? So they're very much close friends. Tucker's very close to the White House, and they're very excited about J.D. Vance.
Now, when you have, like, my father, and you have, a Vivek, and you have a JD who, in all fairness, I think I I should probably get a little credit for just kind of taking on the billionaire donor class that wanted their puppet VP and me.
If only people knew how much credit you deserve for that.
So,
that was a heroic.
I don't ask for much, but I was like, I'm all in on that.
Like, that story will never be written, but that was one of the great moments in any politics I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of politics.
You definitely exerted. I exerted 10,000% of my political capital. I may get a favor from my father in like 2076. I used it all, but it was great after the debate
and it actually worked out. He turned out to be amazing.
Listen, if I go all in, it's usually like I feel really strong. I don't go all in often. There's not a lot of things I'm sort of indifferent. Like I'll work around some of the bad stuff, right? This was one that was like, it was really important to me, and
but there have been like no hiccups.
Okay, so they're all in on JD Vance. And I know that Charlie really did like JD Vance. And so my concern is that Erica would get behind a JD Vance. Not necessarily concerned. Like I feel like a lot of this is unfolding because we're moving forward in time, right? And God's will be done, right? And it would not surprise me if we do eventually in the future, close future, have a president that comes into power, could be on the left or the right, that has no love for Israel and will definitely not help Israel when they really need help. That would definitely fulfill a lot of biblical prophecy that's not yet fulfilled. 30% of the Bible is biblical prophecy, and some of it has not yet been fulfilled. There is a scenario that takes place that's been spoken of in Ezekiel, where Israel is living without walls. Everything is great. There's peace in the land, and then they are attacked, and no one comes in to help them except for God. God does through storms and hailstorms, and He intercedes. But no countries come to help to her defense. So I'm thinking to myself, either America's gone or America has a president that won't intercede. And if you've got someone like Tucker Carlson in your ear, you're not going to help Israel. So here we are, you guys, and it's fascinating to watch. I do believe that when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there was a significant moment in time and what will play out and how all of this will unfold. I'm very curious about Erica Kirk's stance on a lot of this stuff. I don't know where she stands on a lot of it, and I don't know if she can perceive where JD Vance stands on a lot of this stuff. So that'll be interesting to watch. And I'm sure that as time moves forward, we'll start to get little hints. But this all kind of it all kind of meshes together. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the political world, how it kind of brushes up and hits the spiritual world and what God is doing in the spirit realm and also in the physical realm and in what he has spoken of realm. And so it's weird to me and wild how it's kind of all kind of colliding. Do you know what I'm saying? And coming together, and it's fascinating to watch. It's hard to watch because there's a side of you that's like, oh my gosh, like, is this really happening? Like, are we really seeing this turning take place? And then you see stuff like this and you're like, well, a lot's going on. A lot's going on behind the scenes. A lot's going on now in front of the scenes. And I'm just watching it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like, and it's like, what is my role in all this? Like, what is your role in all this? Especially if you're a Christian and you're a believer and you do believe that there's a lot yet to unfold when it comes to biblical prophecy and what God has spoken. I mean, and this is the thing, like a lot of people are like, oh, we're not into biblical prophecy. How could you not be? Like when you think about Isaiah, like you read the book of Isaiah and it literally lays out how Jesus will come to earth as a baby from Bethlehem. That's biblical prophecy. Then it talks about how he will be pierced and crucified for us. That was Isaiah talking hundreds and hundreds of years prior to Christ coming to this earth. That's biblical prophecy. Well, there's still biblical prophecy. There's still prophets in the Bible that have spoken about the last days, the end times. Even Jesus did. He spoke about it in Matthew 24. Really lays out like what is yet to unfold. So as a Christian, it should fascinate you to look at scripture and then look at where we are in time and be able to say, okay, well, this hasn't happened yet, and this has been said to happen. Is it close to happen? Are things lining up for that to happen, or does that far out? I don't know, but it's important for us to, as believers, kind of have an idea of where we are in time, because time is of the essence, and deception runs rampant in these times that we're in, and you can see it right now. You guys, you can see it. It's so obvious, the people that are the players in the role of deception and deceiving people and misleading people and causing people to have hate in their hearts and unforgiveness and bitterness and resentment, and how deception can creep in, and they'll believe anything. They'll believe any podcaster talking about anything. They just will. And also itching ears, right? Jesus talked about how they'd have itching ears. They wouldn't have a hunger for the word of God. Instead, they'd have itching ears, and they'd go to places to hear what they wanted to hear. And we're seeing that right now. We're seeing a turn of Israel. We're seeing another. It's just amazing to me. So I know I talk about this a lot. I think it's a huge passion of mine, and it's such an honor to be here on this earth right now. It really is. And even though a lot of this, I believe, is starting to unfold, or at least the table is being set, there's peace in it. There is peace in it, you guys. There is an absolute peace, because it just reiterates and reaffirms the sovereignty of God. It affirms that he laid it all out. It's done. It's happened. God's outside of time. It's all been done. And now we're watching what has been spoken to happen begin to play out. And it just again affirms God, his existence, his sovereignty, his power, his might, his omnipotence, his greatness, his goodness. It all just again says yes. Yes. All of this says yes to God. So that's what I got with that. And I'm sorry this took a little long to kind of like talk about it, all of it, but I didn't want to rush it today. I wanted to just kind of talk to you guys, tell you where I'm at. God is working on me, because I do, gosh, and even forgive me if you guys have gone on some of my social media posts, because I get a little snippy, and I've got to work on it. And God is constantly like, Rachel, just back off a little bit, because I want to bite. I want to bite back or say something that's not Christ-like. And so I've got to work on that. I am working on that. I'm a work in progress, but I think it's just the deep desire in me to yell and be like, hey, like, don't listen to that. Don't listen to that. Listen to Jesus. Get in your word. And I had someone, because I spoke out about like truth, and I had someone say, well, where is the, like, what is the truth? Like, who do we listen to? We can't listen to the government. We can't listen to the mainstream media. You're telling us we can't listen to podcasters and influencers and all that. And like, what? And it's Jesus. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Like, he said that. And if you seek him and you know him and you spend time with him, then the Holy Spirit fills you. And then you do have the ability to discern where that voice that is speaking is coming from. Who's behind that voice? Is that a spirit of God or is that not a spirit of God? You begin to fine tune and be able to perceive what's happening. You begin to see what's coming. You begin to see the word becomes more alive to you. Like everything starts to open, and it's from Jesus. It's from time in his word. That's how you find the truth. So, all right, enough of that. I'm talking too much. God bless you all. I'm so thankful for you. I appreciate your patience with me as I kind of figure out where I'm being led in all this and what I'm supposed to do in this time. Um, and I hope that you're able to get all of your Christmas errands and shopping and everything done that you have to get done, because it's a lot. It's a lot. But I am so thankful for all of you. I really am. God bless you all, and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.